Hello everyone, Darko 2012 here with Global Government News, and I'm reading an article that was posted on the union.com and is carried by the Associated Press, and it's titled Law Official, Airline Bomb Suspect Flips on Cleric. And it says the Nigerian suspect in a failed Christmas Day airliner bombing turned against the cleric who claims to be his teacher and has helped the U.S. hunt for the radical preacher, a law enforcement official said Thursday. And the only reason that the government government officials are now coming out with these stories about the Christmas Day bomber, um, working with U.S. intelligence is because they have to. They have to. They wouldn't be coming out with a story like this unless basically they didn't get caught. Um, you know, there was somebody, a sharp-dressed man that was associated with this person, and it all boiled down to that. And so they eventually had to admit, U.S. officials had to admit that they all, because it all started to fall apart. They had to admit that why they allowed him on, how he got on a plane without a passport and with a flagged visa, and why he wasn't on a no-fly list, because they knew it. They knew it. They knew prior to this Christmas Day bomber that he was going to be doing this, and in fact, they helped him because the whole thing, they say, was an intelligence gathering operation to get information from al-Qaida. So the whole time we're saying that this guy is a patsy. We're right, he was. And whether he knew that his little underpants were going to go boom boom, I don't think he knew. I think he thought it was an exercise. I don't know if, I do know that he was being video recorded the entire flight, and there were eyewitnesses to seeing a sharp-dressed Indian man who said that we do this all the time, referring to allowing people without passports and high-value targets to get on board of a plane with, I guess, refugee status or whatever. But yeah, so now U.S. intelligence has to backpedal and cover their original story because everything just doesn't smell right anymore. So I guess what my point is while most of the public reads this as in, oh, what a good guy, he's working with the government. My point is he was working with the government the entire time. All right? And so you weren't supposed to know. And then once eyewitnesses talked about him being escorted and why he was allowed to get on there, because originally he was just a grassroots terrorist, no connection to the government. Let's go bomb Yemen. Let's put in the body scanners. Now they gotta go on the defense, and that's because people out there on the internet and out there, like these eyewitnesses, the Haskells, the lawyers, have basically stuck to their guns and said this guy is a effing patsy. And but it was a lot more than that, and that's why you still are hearing about this, because, like I said, their whole story is going to shit. So it says Umar Faraq Abdulmutallab, the 23-year-old Nigerian who faces terrorism charges in the Christmas bombing, has been cooperating with the FBI for days, providing information about his contacts in Yemen and the al-Qaida affiliate that operates there. His cooperation, talking about the U.S.-born Yemeni radical Anwar al-Awlaki, is significant because it could provide fresh clues for authorities trying to capture or kill him in the remote mountains of Yemen. Al-Awlaki has emerged as a prominent al-Qaida recruiter and has been tied to the 9/11 hijackers. Abdulmutallab and the suspect in the November's deadly shooting rampage at Fort Hood. They're talking. Yeah. So you see what's happening here, guys. This is what we were talking about before, about how all this gets tied to Yemen. They'll try to do anything they can to tie it back to Yemen. The law enforcement official would not say what information Abdulmutallab provided, but al-Awlaki, I can't pronounce that, himself said in a recent interview that he and Abdulmutallab had kept in contact. A senior U.S. intelligence official said that he represented the biggest name on the list of people Abdulmutallab might have information against. Both spoke on conditions of anonymity to discuss the sensitive ongoing investigation. Abdulmutallab's cooperation with U.S. authorities is at the center of a political dispute in Washington. Democrats say it proves that Obama's administration was correct to handle the case as a criminal matter. Republicans accuse the administration of leaking details for political purposes. Abdulmutallab agreed to cooperate after FBI agents flew to Nigeria and returned to the U.S. with Abdulmutallab's family members. In a federal prison outside Detroit, Abdulmutallab's father and uncle persuaded him to cooperate with the FBI, according to the U.S. official briefed on the talks, who also spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the ongoing case. A month before the attack, Abdulmutallab's father warned the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria that his son might be dangerous, a warning that officials failed to connect to the other evidence that intelligence officials had gathered. President Barack Obama has said that the U.S. has enough information to prevent the attack. Here, the cleric, who once preached in mosque in California and Northern Virginia, posted Fury English language internet sermons urging Muslims to fight in a jihad, said in an interview released Thursday that he taught the Christmas bomber and supported his efforts but did not call for the attack. Brother Muhammad Amra Farak, my God, relieve him, is one of my students, yes, he said in an interview, which Al Jazeera reported on its website Tuesday. We had kept in contact, but I did not issue a fatwa to Omar Farak for this operation, he was quoted as saying. This is understanding the cleric's connection to Abdulmutallab and to al-Qaida in the Arab Peninsula is a key to the U.S. investigation of the attack and its effort to disrupt other plots. On November 11th, British intelligence officials sent a cable revealing that a man named Omar Farak had spoken to the cleric pledging to support jihad or holy war. The cable did not contain Abdulmutallab's last name, an omission that made it harder for analysis to connect it to the warning his father would make 1 week later. The contents of the cable were described by intelligence officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity. I hate this word because this is all that it ever is. Every report I get is this hard word that I can't pronounce. Anonymity, because they were not authorized to discuss the matter, which is true because they never talk about anything, because most of the time this is just intelligence agencies making this fucking shit up, right? Just like this whole interview, I looked at it and it's it even says the date of the interview posted on Al Jazeera's website on February 2nd was not clear, though Arab news television apparently did not report the interview in its broadcast. So we don't even know if this cleric even said this, or this interview even took place, or whether, Abdulmutallab, whatever he says, is actually the truth. I don't believe anything that comes from U.S. officials when it comes to statements, okay? Because all they have to do is say he spoke on. He was speaking on the condition of anonymity because, of course, we don't have a normal, justice system here. It's just you're all guilty and you got to prove your innocence. So there were other early warnings to a U.S. wiretap referred to a Nigerian being trained for a special mission, and another intercept mentioned some type of operation on December 25th. He said al-Awlaki's family, many members of his powerful al-Awlaki tribe, deny the 38-year-old is a member of al-Qaida. But I'm just looking at this article that was from December 24th, 2009. It says U.S.-born cleric Anwar al-Awlaki may have also died in the airstrike which targeted a meeting of militants planning attacks on Yemeni and foreign oil and economic targets, he said. So the guy's probably dead already. Kind of like, maybe he's with Osama bin Laden. Maybe they're up in heaven or something, or hell or wherever. Maybe they're just both dead and they're in the same place staging terrorist attacks. It's that ridiculous. So thanks for checking this out, everybody.